Hello! Welcome to Human Design Center. I'm glad that we share a common interest in human design, the science of differentiation, the art of living your life according to your unique design and genetic matrix that sustains it. Today, you are going to learn or recap, as the case may be, about Hexagram 14, possession in great measure, power skills, the accumulation and retention of power through skilled interaction, coupling grace with control. Hexagram 14 is part of fourth trimester of SIRIUS, where we accomplish our purpose through mutation, transformation, spirit. Gate 14 corresponds to God Hades as a deity archetype, the Greek god of the Underworld that ruled over the dead. Hades means determination, transport, taking over, man or Laos. Hence, Hades' function as a god who takes people's souls after death and transports them to the afterlife. Hades was known for his helmet, the Helm of Darkness or the Cap of Invisibility, and his companion Cerberus, the three-headed dog that guards the entrance to the Underworld. Zodiac sign, Scorpion. Gate 14 flows within the individual knowing circuit, which is about present, hearing, acoustic, melancholy, empowering myself and empowering others. Keyword, empowerment. Center, sacral, that gives the energy for the power of productivity, fertility, vital energy, the response, sexual availability, reproduction. The harmonic gate is number 2, the receptive, the direction of self, being part of the generated channel 14 and 2, the beat, a design of the keeper of the keys. The opposite gate is number 8, holding together, contribution, aminoacid, lysine, relevant organ, small intestine, tarot card associated, 7 of cups. Gate 14, in fourth trimester, in Hades, forms the channel with Gate 2 located in the second trimester of Do-Be, civilization form, connecting to Maya archetype. This way, aminoacid lysine associated with Gate 14 communicates with aminoacid phenylalanine of the second gate. It is relevant for the value and functioning of this gate to observe that aminoacid lysine is the same as for the Gate 1, under the castle of the same god Hades. It is useful to have in mind that these two gates share the same amino acid, both placed within the same energy of Hades. Lysine is an essential amino acid, meaning it should be brought into the body from your diet, because the body cannot make it. It is absorbed best into the body when consumed through dietary sources. It's found in large amounts in various kinds of meat, beans, cheeses, and eggs. There are many incredible L-lysine benefits, from its use as a common treatment for cold sores to a potential anti-anxiety supplement. Briefly, lysine can help the body absorb calcium, and it can reduce the amount of calcium lost in your urine. It is also related to anti-cancer effect and reducing anxiety by the effect of reducing the levels of the stress hormone cortisol. Specifically, lysine is very important in the creation of carnitine, which converts fatty acids into energy and also lowers cholesterol levels. It helps the body form collagen, which aids in the growth and maintenance of bones and connective tissue, including skin. Let's just approach the benefits of lysine, one by one, telling you what I know from my own research. I have Gate 14 in North Node and Channel with Gate 2 in Mercury, so I am very interested to know everything about lysine. 1. Lysine may support a healthy gut. An extremely common problem that millions of people have, many of whom aren't even aware of it, is leaky gut syndrome. This condition is the permeating of your digestive tract lining, allowing larger than intended particles to get out of your digestive system and into the rest of your body. This causes allergic reactions, low energy, joint pain, autoimmune diseases, and thyroid disease. A form of L-lysine was found to have anti-inflammatory effects on the lining of your gut, hopefully leading to more extensive research on how this amino acid may help improve the health of this lining and possibly prevent leaky gut. 2. Lysine reduces diabetes-related problems. One of the most difficult things patients with diabetes experience is an increased risk for infection and other diabetes-related conditions. Studies suggest that one of the lysine benefits for diabetics may be to prohibit the formation of AGE in those with diabetes by preventing specific paths of glycation that lead to these products, helping stave off infection. Lysine that was given to healthy adults led to lower circulating glucose and insulin responses. Lysolin, a nutraceutical that contains lysine, vitamin C, and zinc, not only improved glycemic control and reduced the progression of diabetes, but it also helped reduce total and LDL cholesterol levels. 3. Lysine increases absorption of calcium. Consuming lysine food is associated with better absorption of calcium, which leads some to believe that it can help people with or at risk for osteoporosis. Athletes often take lysine as a protein supplement to improve performance. This, too, may be related to the way lysine causes your body to absorb calcium. 4. Lysine may decrease outbreak and frequency of cold sores. If you've heard of lysine before, it's probably in conjunction with a natural cold sore remedy. Cold sores are a result of the herpes simplex 1 virus, also referred to as HSV1. While research is inconsistent on the subject, most individuals who use L-lysine to treat cold sores find it to be very effective. Experts generally agree that lysine is unlikely to completely stop outbreaks altogether, but may aid in lessening their severity and frequency. One study using a cream combining lysine with herbs and zinc found that 87% of patients saw their cold sores go away by day 6 of treatment. This is significant because these outbreaks usually last about 21 days. The way this nutrient may fight cold sores is not entirely clear, but one such reason may be the way that it interacts with arginine, another amino acid that's produced in small amounts within the body. Arginine has been shown to increase the replication rate of herpes virus cells, and high amounts of lysine in the body decrease the activity of arginine because they work against one another. 5. Lysine reduces anxiety and other psychological symptoms. Along with eating foods high in B vitamins, magnesium, and omega-3 fatty acids, it is said to be beneficial in taking lysine to minimize anxiety. Because lysine may help your body absorb calcium, which is another beneficial nutrient for anxiety sufferers, this may be one of the primary ways in which it helps remedy anxiety. In addition to helping you absorb calcium more efficiently, lysine behaves like a serotonin receptor antagonist. That's a wordy phrase that means it partially binds to serotonin receptors in order to partially prevent anxiety responses. 6. Lysine may help in the treatment of cancer. Researchers continue to discover more ways that nutrients found in our food and in nature may potentially target malignant cells without killing good ones. In 2007, scientists at Florida State University studied the effects of lysine conjugates on damaged strands of DNA, like the ones found in cancer. Basically, this substance can locate a damaged strand by identifying cleavage in it, a damaged spot, and cause the rest of the strand to cleave, tear apart as well. The cell is usually unable to repair this damage, leading to apoptosis, the death of cells. The more you learn about lysine, the more you realize how fascinating the potential of this treatment is and how it works alongside specific types of light. The cancer-killing ability of lysine conjugates are only activated when exposed to particular types of light. The scientists conducting the FSU study found results ranging from 25% all the way to 90% of destroyed cancer cells, which is astounding. 7. Lysine promotes wound healing by helping create collagen. L-lysine is an essential amino acid that plays a crucial role in collagen formation, which is vital for skin structure and wound healing. It also helps the body absorb calcium, which is important for collagen production and bone health. This amino acid is required for the cross-linking of collagen fibers, which is essential for wound repair and tissue strength. A 2013 study found that increasing lysine acetylation accelerated wound healing by enhancing fibroblast migration and collagen deposition. 8. Lysine may help treat dry eyes. This essential amino acid has been explored for its potential role in reducing symptoms of dry eyes by enhancing the integrity of ocular tissues. Some studies suggest that it helps maintain tear film and reduces inflammation associated with dry eyes. 9. Lysine could reduce high blood pressure. There is evidence that lysine may help reduce high blood pressure by modulating nitric oxide production, which relaxes blood vessels. One study in patients with hypertension found that lysine reduced blood pressure levels, particularly in people with insufficient lysine intake in their diets. 10. Lysine enhances muscle strength. Lysine is important for muscle protein synthesis, which is key to building and maintaining muscle mass. This amino acid helps the body absorb and retain nitrogen, supporting muscle growth and repair. It appears to have potential benefits for muscle strength, particularly in older adults. A study showed that lysine supplementation may help with muscle loss and enhance strength in older women. Additionally, lysine is often used as a protein supplement by athletes to help muscles recover from stress and potentially boost athletic performance. So, it's so beautiful that it's hard to believe it's true. It's hard to believe that our behavior in Gate 14, our sacral response, in our everyday life can cause so many dysfunctions in relation to this amino acid. The best approach to maintain an optimum level of lysine is to use correctly your strategy and authority according to your type. Remember that lysine is also related with Gate 1. Now, since we've located the gate on the mandala and on the body graph, and we have a general summary of the essential characteristics of Gate 14, now let's dive into the 14th gate message and energy. The key theme of this 14th hexagram is the potential for abundance, resources, and talent to be unlocked in an individual's life when they are aligned with their true purpose. It represents the energy of possessing greatness or potential in large quantities, often related to creativity, skills, and resources that can be used for personal and collective growth. Here are a few key aspects of hexagram 14. Potential for abundance. This gate is all about the ability to attract resources or wealth, whether they are material, creative, or emotional. It's a powerful energy that can be channeled to manifest great success or growth, but it requires awareness and alignment with your true strategy and authority. Sacral energy. Since it's located in the sacral center, this hexagram requires a response-based decision-making. When you're aligned with your strategy and authority, depending on your specific human design type, you can tap into the natural flow of this abundant energy. Creative and generative power. Gate 14 is often linked to the capacity for creative output and the ability to generate things that can provide value to others, such as art, projects, or products. It's about cultivating and managing resources or talents in a way that is sustainable and in harmony with one's inner design. Success and fulfillment. For those with this gate activated, success is often tied to doing what they love and being in alignment with their unique gifts. When the sacral response is clear, they can move into abundance with ease. This energy requires flow, not pushing or forcing things. Like all gates, it has a dual aspect that can manifest as overextension or greed, trying to accumulate resources or wealth for the wrong reasons, like out of fear or insecurity. This can cause burnout or imbalance. The key is to be in alignment and allow the right opportunities to come to you without attachment. In human design charts, the way this gate interacts with other gates can significantly influence an individual's relationship to their resources, creativity, and success. If it's connected to other gates that enhance creativity or leadership, such as Gate 1, the gate of creativity, or Gate 33, the gate of privacy, it can create a powerful force for manifesting and guiding large-scale projects. However, If it's connected to gates that create tension or confusion, like gate 32, the gate of continuity, there could be challenges in knowing how or when to act. In short, Hexagram 14 represents a unique potential for wealth, creativity, and resourcefulness, but its power is best realized when it is approached with a clear and grounded sense of purpose, aligned with the energy of the sacral response or with your own authority. Gate 14. Possession in great measure. You have to know that it does not give away its power. One of the themes that underlie this hexagram in the traditional I Ching is this concept of wealth and the loading up of the wagon. Our most common word for energy is money. The power that is inherent here in the 14th gate is not about money in the sense of hard currency. It is about power as currency. How much power do you put out to get wealth? How many of your possessions do you utilize in order to get resources? You must be aware. For what do you exchange your power? Do you give too much power in great measure and you obtain too little? The line of the gate Valbtine shows you what is the correct way for you to use this power, these possessions. Whenever people have defined motors and they are dependent on other people to get that energy out, we should tell them, you wouldn't walk through the street with a basket full of money and let everybody grab in there and pull out the money. That energy itself is a force to bring about the right direction. Put that energy into bringing the right direction together with Gate 2. Others will follow you, since this channel brings direction. This channel, 14 and 2, is basically an alchemist. It is somebody who has the means to transform something of their own mediocre means into something quite different, changing base metal into gold. So it's a very particular channel engaging very much with our sense of prosperity, wealth, and that whole realm of creating something we might describe even as being miraculous. People with this channel are quite often very competent around money and creating wealth. Let's go back to Gate 14 and talk about the prosperity that comes out of this gate. In the traditional Chinese translation, we saw that it's called possession in great measure. You can think of it as a gate of harvesting, because you put out an effort, you implement something in the world, and you'll get the results from it. It's easy and sense of natural for these people to learn approaching situations involving resources of property, wealth, and affluence. In our material world, this 14th gate draws our attention to what we're doing in our wealth scenario. Analyze your mindset in relation to wealth and money and resources. Read your line of Gate 14 and ponder a little bit on the message that you get out of this. If you do not have Gate 14 in your chart, read the line of your profile, the conscious one. If you are a 4 and 6 profile, read line 4 of Gate 14. Maybe you've heard of mindset like, money doesn't grow on trees, or better poor and clean than rich and ashamed, or money's the root of all evil. What you need to remember, in order to get into the message of your line of Gate 14, to see how it functions correctly, is that Gate 14 is actually an internal attitude that describes how we draw the benefit of what we put out into the world, how we engage in this prosperity. Dive into your real attitude around wealth in terms of this 14 of prosperity. I hope I've piqued your curiosity, because we go on now to climb the 6 lines ladder of Gate 14. It's a process that will bring clarity to you in relation to nuances of the content and expression of the 14th gate. At the end, we will touch upon the crosses of incarnation, where Gate 14 plays its role for our conscious sun and become part of the purpose. Let's see the 6 stages of development of this energy and possible dualism in its manifestation. Gate 14, line 1, money isn't everything. When we look at line 1 in Gate 14, it brings a foundational quality to this energy, one that is about the initiation of personal understanding and self-discovery. Specifically, line 1 in any gate brings a deeper focus on investigation, exploration, curiosity, and laying a solid foundation for the energy of that gate. The phrase, money isn't everything, in the context of Gate 14, line 1, is deeply connected to the energy of being grounded in what truly matters, rather than chasing after wealth or resources just for the sake of it. Here's a deeper breakdown. Line 1, in any gate, typically represents someone who is learning the basics of that energy or trying to understand how to use it correctly. In the case of Gate 14, this line has a foundational approach to wealth and resources. It isn't about blind ambition to accumulate money or possessions, but rather about understanding that true wealth comes from being aligned with one's values, purpose, and authentic self-expression. People with Gate 14, line 1, may find themselves in situations where they are learning about how to manage and create resources, but they also need to learn that personal fulfillment doesn't come from simply obtaining more. There's a sense of self-reliance in this line, and while the potential for material success exists, this is not at all the driving force. Instead, they need to come to terms with the fact that wealth can be fulfilling when used as a means to live out one's purpose, but it doesn't define true satisfaction. The core message of money isn't everything in this line is about being detached from materialism. People with this placement are meant to be aware of their resources, but not overly attached to them. They might find themselves naturally disinterested in accumulating wealth just for the sake of showing off or holding on to power, and instead, they feel fulfilled when they use their resources to support their personal growth or contribute meaningfully to others. Gate 14, line 1, asks individuals to have integrity and to be grounded in their approach to wealth, understanding that it's not the accumulation of resources that leads to true fulfillment, it's how those resources are used. A person with this line may find themselves struggling with balancing personal ambition and spiritual fulfillment, learning that being in alignment with their purpose will bring abundance naturally, and focusing on the internal alignment rather than external accumulation. They are real investigators and learners regarding their possessions in great measure, regarding wealth and prosperity. In practical terms, in real life, someone with Gate 14T, line 1, might have the ability to manifest resources and wealth, but they will feel more fulfilled when their material success aligns with their deeper purpose or sense of meaning. If they get too caught up in just accumulating wealth for its own sake, they could feel empty or disconnected from their true purpose. This line could also manifest as someone who needs to learn that true abundance isn't just about the physical or material world. They may be learning to integrate spiritual or emotional wealth and recognize that fulfillment can be found in personal growth, relationships, or creative expression, not just in financial gains. Remember the basic message of this gate. Money and material success are not the ultimate goals. The focus is on personal growth and alignment with deeper values. Line 1 brings a foundational learning experience, and with it, the individual may explore what it truly means to have wealth, how it should serve their purpose, not dominate their life. Self-awareness and a sense of purpose are essential for these individuals to experience true abundance, and remember that they may struggle if they prioritize wealth over meaning. In short, Gate 14, line 1, is about cultivating and understanding that while wealth and resources can support you, true richness comes from a sense of purpose and alignment, not from the accumulation of money or material goods alone. This is an individual power source that is focused on bringing about order through empowering the right direction. The recognition that wealth has its own problems. Jupiter, exalted. The lust for lucre tempered by higher principles. Mercury in detriment. The delusion that you can throw money at problems. The basis of this hexagram on the exalted side is the desperation to turn the energy into currency. You want that energy to be converted into a successful direction. After all, it is a main tantric channel. In the detriment, there is this sense that you give your energy to others so that they will get you to the right direction. When 14s meet a second gate people, there is that relation between the key and the driver. The 14 says to second gate, I have the key and you'll be the driver. In the White Book, the key to manifesting power is higher principles. The higher principle is, I am not wasting my energy. I use my energy for the correct direction in my process in order to bring about order. The other side of this is, energy alone can never be the key. You can't just pay someone to take you to the right direction. It does not work. You can't just throw your energy at them. The 14th gate has all the power within it to drive, but it does not know where to drive. It is located in an unaware center. On its own, it can't know where to drive, so there is always a tendency in people with the 14th gate to make attempts at doing things that are not for them, or they will ask other people to take them into that direction. This possession in great measure is an enormously powerful gate, but it is vulnerable to being misguided. Remember that the first line is there to understand the nature of the hexagram. It does have this power for direction, but that does not mean that it knows what to do with it. It does not know where it is going in its process. Gate 14, line 2, management. When looking at line 2 in gate 14, we encounter an energy that speaks to a natural talent or ability that others can recognize and be drawn to. Line 2 is often referred to as the natural or inherent line because it represents qualities or abilities that come easily to a person, even if they don't consciously realize it. The phrase management, in the context of gate 14, line 2, is all about the natural talent for managing resources in a way that feels effortless or instinctual to the individual, yet it's highly valuable to others. Let's analyze the basic qualities of this second line. Natural ability to manage resources. People with gate 14, line 2, are often naturally good at handling and managing resources, whether those resources are material wealth, time, energy, or talent. This could translate into an ability to organize, structure, or oversee projects, people, or finances in a way that feels easy and seamless. Others might look to them for guidance or support when it comes to managing things effectively. Since line 2 represents natural or inherent gifts, these individuals might not always be fully conscious of how well they manage resources. Their talent may appear effortless to them, but it stands out to others. They may not necessarily seek to be in a leadership or managerial role, but their skills, their ability to handle situations in a grounded, efficient way, will often attract attention. Line 2 tends to be more introverted or withdrawn, avoiding the spotlight. These individuals may not actively seek out managerial roles or attention, yet they naturally attract people who recognize their ability to manage and oversee. For them, the challenge is often in stepping into the role of a manager or leader when it is required, even if they might feel uncomfortable or unprepared for it. One of the unique aspects of line 2 is that others call them out for their natural talents. People may notice their ability to manage resources, and often, these individuals are invited into roles where they can manage, lead, or coordinate. The key for these individuals is being invited into these opportunities. If they push themselves into these roles without the invitation, they might not feel the success or satisfaction they are seeking. While gate 14 is associated with abundance and resources, the concept of management here isn't limited to financial wealth. It's beyond money. It can refer to managing all kinds of resources in life. These individuals might be great at managing time, projects, teams, creative output, or even emotional resources. People with this configuration have a natural knack for understanding and utilizing resources effectively, often without thinking about it. They may not actively seek recognition or leadership roles, but others will often see their management abilities and draw them into those roles. They thrive when their talents are recognized by others and when they are invited to step into leadership or managerial positions. They can be self-sufficient and handle resources without much effort, but may need to be mindful of not being too withdrawn or passive about their abilities. In practical terms, a person with gate 14, line 2, might be someone who is naturally skilled at managing large amounts of work, overseeing projects, or organizing resources in a way that feels easy and natural to them. They may not seek out these roles, but when given the opportunity, they excel at leading, coordinating, or managing because of their inherent abilities. However, if they don't feel invited into these roles, or if they don't recognize their own natural talents, they might miss out on opportunities to step into their leadership potential. The key for these individuals is to wait for the invitation and to trust that their ability to manage will be recognized by others at the right time. This line is not called management for nothing. It's a powerful keyword. They have the wisdom that investing in expertise brings rewards, but wisdom is something that you don't get right away in life. You may never get it at all. This is an advice to the second line. It says expertise would really help you to find the right direction. When you are dealing with the first three lines, the lower trigram, there is no capacity to understand the nature of the other side. The 14.1 and 2 and 3 know at some level that there is this power within them, but they do not know the driver. They always have to meet the driver. They just project out this energy. Jupiter exalted, expansion, the ability to delegate responsibility, Mars in detriment, the vanity to be one's own best expert. Ra-Uruhu gave a very relevant explanation on these aspects. This is individual, built into their genetic individual material. That means every single genetic gate is a self-preservation phenomenon that says, don't interfere with me. Don't take me away from my trip. Don't try to control me. Don't try to condition me. All individuality is that way. When you get to the second line, the exalted says, the key to power lies in not trying to be and do everything alone. Remember that they are projecting out that they have this power, so that is what they assume they can do. I have the power and I can get my own direction. Nobody needs to help me. On the other side, the key to power is doing everything individually. It is Mars. To understand this line, you should let go of your moralistic judgments about this and that. Mars, in its immaturity, gets a very bad reputation. In this particular line, that immaturity is actually of value because the immaturity says, I do not need anybody else. I do have the power. I can do it myself. I know where I will go. It does not mean that they do. It still means that they will run into all the problems that second lines run into, which is being found out. Big talk about your direction, but you do not get there. If someone has the detriment in that line, you should advise them. Be your own expert, no matter what happens. That is their nature. None of this is about seeing any of those aspects as being less or missing or wrong. It is exactly what the genetic information within them demands, in that sense. Let's recap some basic traits of this line. Innate talent for an effortless management of resources is the core gift. People with this energy handle resources and leadership roles with ease. They thrive when their talents are recognized and invited by others to step into a leadership or management position. They may not seek out management or leadership roles, but will excel when they are called into them. Management is not only about financial resources, but also about time, energy, and other valuable assets. In summary, Gate 14, Line 2, is about possessing a natural ability to manage resources effectively and effortlessly, even if the individual is not fully aware of it. The key to success for someone with this energy is being recognized for their talents and invited into roles where they can lead and manage, rather than forcing themselves into these positions. Gate 14, Line 3, Service. Generally speaking, people who have the 14th gate always have a great deal of power within them, and they are often very successful materially in their process because that power does convert. When they find the right direction, they can always turn that energy into currency. They can always turn that energy into what looks after them. Coming to the theme of this line, it is trial and error, learning through experience. This line is not about doing things perfectly from the start. Line 3 expression is about experimentation and learning through direct experience. It is often associated with a process of trial and error, where mistakes are seen as valuable lessons. This line is about adapting and finding practical solutions through hands-on experience. This line is not about perfection or stability. It's about discovering what works and what doesn't, and finding ways to develop skill through experience. On the other side, line 3 can manifest as a tendency to repeat mistakes or to become stuck in cycles of failure if the lessons are not learned. It can also lead to a sense of martyrdom, where the individual feels they are constantly sacrificing themselves for others. When Gate 14 is expressed through line 3, it emphasizes the process of learning how to manage and direct power through experience. This combination suggests a person who learns how to harness their energy and resources by trying different approaches and learning from both successes and failures. Their strength is to bring resilience and adaptability. The individual is likely to develop a deep understanding of how to manage energy and resources effectively through practical experience. Line 3 in Gate 14. 14 is associated with creating prosperity or abundance through experimentation and trial and error. It's about understanding that mistakes and failures are part of the process and lead to growth, rather than expecting to find the right path immediately. This third line is, essentially, about service. For many, the lesson of Gate 14, line 3, is about understanding that true abundance is not simply the accumulation of wealth or resources. It is also found in the willingness to share those resources generously for the collective benefit. This service aspect underscores a key philosophical point in human design, that prosperity is most fulfilling when it flows in a reciprocal, life-affirming way. The whole thing for the 14 is to recognize that the only way for them to get through the whole process, ultimately, is to find some way to externalize that energy as service, the utilization of talent and wealth for the highest good. This channel leads to the 8 and 1 channel, which is the creative role model. Individuality is never about being best. It is about being different. The wealth and talent of any individual lies in the glorification of their own individuality and their identification with their individuality so that they can be different. Earth exalted, selfless contribution to society. As nice as it sounds, it does not mean that it is going to work. It does not mean that they will be rewarded, since they will make mistakes. I will give my energy to the anarchist movement. That service to any kind of higher principle, by the way, those are relative terms, is going to be filled with trial and error, and these people will offer their energy to different drivers until they have the experience to recognize which driver can really be good for them. Here, we meet the energy of sacrificing one's talents and resources for the good of all. There are some traits to be outlined in relation to service theme and sacrifice theme that comes out of selfless contribution to society into an experimentation process through trial and error, such as a natural drive to contribute selflessly and support the community, a propensity to engage quickly and wholeheartedly in projects that promise collective benefit, potential challenges with overcommitting or losing personal balance in the act of service. The lesson for a third line might be a gift. The gift of this placement is the ability to turn personal resourcefulness into a powerful tool for collective empowerment, but it comes with the important task of learning to maintain healthy boundaries and care for one's own energy while serving others. By understanding and consciously working with this energy, individuals with Gate 14, line 3, can transform what might sometimes feel like an all-consuming urge to serve into a balanced, sustainable, and profoundly impactful way of contributing to the world. Neptune, in detriment. Greed and the self-destruction of moral fiber. This line is deeply misunderstood. The greed of this line is what you see at the very top, the accumulation and retention of power. If you are holding all this power inside of you and you do not find a way to release it, it will make you ill. It is the greed of saying, I am not going to provide you with that energy. It is like driving up to a gas station with your car and the car is empty. You push it in and the gas station attendant looks at you and says, No, I want to keep this gasoline because my car can run out of gasoline. You'd better push your car someplace else. The moral fiber is in the sense of how society will react to that kind of holding back of all of that energy by condemning it. If somebody has this line, it does not mean that it is a negative. It means that is the way in which they are going to come to grips with this process of trial and error. Remember, everything about the 14th hexagram is dependent on wisdom, which comes later. So, what these people end up being very good at, late in life, is being the ones who know that there will always be the possibility for a perfect place to put their energy. It is deep inside. It does not get to manifest until the resonance in the 6th line. In reality, there is this touch of it underneath where they say, aha, I am actually holding on to all of this money so that I can give it away to a really good cause, but I have not found the cause yet. If I do find it, I will give it all away. Bill Gates said, I am too young to give away my money, and I do not know what to give it to, holding on with the potential that it can be of service. As a conclusion, in this line, the challenge here is to avoid becoming discouraged by failures and to see them as part of the learning process. There may also be a tendency to overextend oneself, leading to burnout if energy is not managed wisely. Practically, for individuals, it's useful to know that if you have gate 14, line 3 in your chart, it's important to embrace a mindset of experimentation. Understand that mistakes are part of the process and that each failure brings you closer to mastering the art of energy management. Be mindful of your energy levels and avoid overcommitting. In relationships, this combination can bring a dynamic energy to relationships, as the individual is likely to be proactive and willing to try new things. However, it's important to communicate openly about energy levels and to avoid taking on too much responsibility. If we have to say briefly what Gate 14, Line 3 is about, it is about learning to harness and direct power through practical experience. It's a journey of trial and error where the individual develops resilience and adaptability. The key is to embrace the learning process, manage energy wisely, and avoid the pitfalls of overextension and burnout. Gate 14, Line 4, Security. The 4th line emphasizes the importance of establishing a solid base in your life. This isn't just about accumulating resources, but also about developing the skills and structures that protect and sustain them. Think of it as ensuring that the energy you generate, your creative force, your talent, your ability to attract and multiply resources, is anchored in a stable, secure foundation. In this line, it's also about practical skill development. The underlying call is to invest in honing your power skills in a practical way. This means learning and mastery and creating systems. For learning and mastery, they continuously work on and refining your skills so that your ability to generate and manage resources isn't just a burst of energy, but a consistently reliable capacity. For creating systems, they develop processes and structures, whether in their personal life or work, that help them manage resources efficiently and keep the creative energy from dissipating into chaos. There is also the theme of long-term prosperity. Ultimately, the 4th line teaches that true abundance isn't only about the immediate rush of creative energy, the go factor of Gate 14, but also about ensuring that this energy is secured for the long haul. By focusing on building a secure foundation, you empower yourself to sustain prosperity and use your talents effectively, even when faced with external challenges. 14th gate is about power skills. They have the key for the driver they are looking for, and 4th line is about externalizing. So, the 14th gate may not be aware about how they change direction when using their power skills, their possessions, the nature of the fuel conditions, the direction. Think about it as the difference between a vegetarian and a carnivore. A vegetarian 14 or a carnivore 14 will push you in different directions because you have to shop in different places to fulfill that energy. It may not be aware, but it will change the direction just out of the very nature of the energy. When you come to the 4th line, You come to the first possibility to be able to go across the channel to recognize that one has to deal with the other side, that there is a driver. The first thing that this is all about is the skill of being able to fix your power and show it on the outside. The fourth line is always about being one-directional, being focused, being fixed. It is taking an aspect out of the foundation of its nature, and it is fixing it. The concentration on establishing a strong foundation. Moon exalted, protection from assault. The key to power lies in developing skills to ensure a strong foundation. These are people that project out their power in a very fixed way. It is very difficult to take these people away from that. With the moon in an exalted position in this line, it's about protection and stability. There is an inherent call to nurture and safeguard what you've built. It suggests that your emotional and intuitive understanding plays a crucial role in maintaining security. You're encouraged to trust your instincts to know when your foundation is strong and when it might need reinforcement. You really know how to protect your power skills, your possessions in front of any type of assault. You externalize in a very fixed way. They are so fixed in their power, one way. They can have a lot of power focused in one direction, but they can be enormously weak all over the place. It is very important to understand that about the limitation of security. The key to power lies in developing skills to ensure a strong foundation. The skills lie in the focusing of that energy. These people need to have a very fixed direction in life. It is very important for them to see that their energy is being put in one thing and it is moving along, and they move through that path, and then they can develop the skill for using that energy. Mars in detriment. Overconfidence in meeting the challenge of competition that may threaten the very basis of security. When Mars is in detriment here, you should find balance between confidence and caution. The detriment is about caution against overconfidence. While it's important to have faith in your abilities, the lesson here is to avoid letting that confidence turn into arrogance or reckless ambition. Overestimating your capacity without ensuring your foundational skills are well developed can leave you vulnerable when challenges or competition arise. Without the proper skills, the inability to guarantee security. If one does not really know how to deal with that energy, if they cannot find a way of fixing that energy, they can be easily manipulated by other people. Their energy gets easily pulled away. Remember that the fourth line is the beginning of this transpersonal process. Because of that, it runs into difficulties due to its fixedness. It still does not have the capacity to be embraced by the other side. That comes with the fifth line. When you do a reading for somebody who has this line, a valuable advice for them would be, get a job that you really love and do it and fix your energy on it. So the message of the fourth line in gate 14 is to ensure that the power and resources you generate are supported by a well-developed, secure foundation. This means balancing the drive to create and accumulate with a disciplined focus on skill development, stability, and protection. By doing so, you not only safeguard your own well-being, but also set the stage for lasting prosperity and effective leadership. Understanding and integrating this message helps you see that while your creative power is vital, its true strength lies in how securely you can channel and protect that energy over time. Gate 14, line 5, arrogance. The fifth line of gate 14 carries the theme of arrogance, which is a warning and a lesson about the ever-present risk inherent in positions of power. Here's a deeper look at its message. The core message is balancing dignity with humility. This line highlights that while you naturally possess powerful skills for managing and generating resources, the essence of gate 14, there's a significant risk that this very power can lead to an inflated sense of self. The energy of the sun here is exalted, suggesting that you have an innate dignity and capacity for leadership. But without balance, this can tip into arrogance. What it means in practice is that there is a risk of feeling superior. The fifth line warns that being in positions of power may sometimes lead to a belief that you're inherently better than others. This can create a disconnect because, rather than fostering collaboration and mutual growth, you might start undervaluing the contributions of those around you. Another risk is the pitfall of over-identification with success. When you are highly skilled at attracting and managing resources, it's natural to feel confident. However, if that confidence isn't tempered with humility, it can become arrogance. In this context, arrogance isn't just about personal pride. It's the risk of isolating yourself from supportive relationships and missing out on collective wisdom. Once you saw the risks, you may also acknowledge the need of this line, the need for service and contribution. Gate 14's full potential is realized when its power is used in service to others. The message of the fifth line is a reminder. True power is not about dominating or looking down on others. Instead, it's about using your abilities to uplift those around you. When you recognize that everyone brings value, you prevent the trap of superiority that arrogance can create. To understand the message of this line, let's remember the lines a little bit. The first line is about the nature of the hexagram, and the fifth line is how the world wants it to be. The fifth line is in resonance to the second line. We saw that the second line projects out that power, but it does not necessarily have it. Do you remember the 2.2 on the other side, in the detriment, can be genius as madness? The inability to recognize one's own nature projecting outwards can lead to very bizarre and dangerous paths. In the fifth line, you come to a field that is being projected upon. That is why the line is called arrogance, the ever-present risk inherent in positions of power. It does not mean that you are in a position of power. It means that everybody assumes that you are in a position of power. When you meet a 14.5, you assume that they are powerful. This is how you project onto their energy. They may or may not be powerful. Sun exalted, innate dignity, that is a key to power. The only protection for an individual who is projected upon as being powerful is that they'd better mind their manners, language, they would better be on their best behavior, they should watch what they're doing, or other people will gang up on them and check out that power to find out how long it takes to nail them to the cross. The sun's influence here gives you a natural radiance and leadership quality. It says that you have the capacity to shine and lead with dignity, but that same radiant energy can easily become overbearing if not balanced. Venus in detriment, a dissatisfaction with the gifts of others that creates feelings of superiority. Innate recognition of those without power, fueling the illusion of superiority. You get projected on that you have the power to provide the energy for direction, but people will provide the link. This is a transpersonal process, the 14 with second gate, and the second becomes the driver. The 14 is sitting there saying, I am giving to this person all this fuel, and this is where they take me. I don't think that they are good drivers. I don't think they know where they are going. Out of that comes the sense of fifth line that says, they are not very important. They are not very good at what they are doing. They are limited in their capacity. This is the other side. The fifth is always being projected on. The world sees power as arrogance. This aspect cautions against becoming too focused on external signs of success, like wealth or status, which can fuel a sense of superiority. The lesson is to stay connected with your inner values and to appreciate the gifts of others. In summary, the fifth line of Gate 14 teaches that while you have a remarkable ability to create and manage resources, there's an ever-present risk of letting that power foster arrogance. The key lesson is to cultivate your innate dignity and leadership without falling into a mindset of superiority. By doing so, you maintain a balance between self-confidence and humility, ensuring that your success not only benefits you but also contributes positively to those around you. Understanding this line is a call to check in with yourself. Are you using your talents to genuinely serve and uplift others? Or are you inadvertently creating distance through an inflated sense of self? Balancing these energies is essential for sustainable, meaningful success. Gate 14, line 6, humility. The sixth line of Gate 14 expresses the most mature, enlightened manifestation of the energy of power skills, with the theme of humility, wealth, and power at its most exalted. It might give us a lesson of wisdom. The core meaning refers to enlightened expression of abundance. At this level, the energy of Gate 14, naturally focused on generating and managing resources, is transformed. Instead of being driven by self-centered ambition or a need to prove oneself, the sixth line embodies an inner knowing that true power and wealth are gifts to be received and shared in a spirit of gratitude. It's also essential for line 6, the humility as the ultimate key. Even when you attract great abundance, the sixth line teaches that maintaining humility is essential. This humility isn't about self-deprecation. It's the deep understanding that your prosperity is part of a larger cosmic order and that material success serves a higher purpose. It recognizes that the true value of wealth lies in its ability to empower and uplift not just oneself, but also the community. In practical life, a healthy and a correct sixth line: experience, balanced leadership, spiritual integration, and acceptance of life's gifts. Balanced leadership is about those with the sixth line in Gate 14 that often become leaders who use their success to benefit others. Their power is not displayed as an assertion of superiority, but as a humble responsibility. They are aware that the abundance they experience is not solely due to their own efforts, but is also a manifestation of universal abundance. Spiritual integration comes when this sixth line bridges the material and the spiritual. It suggests that genuine prosperity comes when you align your resourcefulness with a higher purpose or spiritual insight. In this way, material wealth is not an end in itself. It is a means to contribute to the greater good, making your power both impactful and compassionate. A balanced leadership and spiritual integration become the basis for the acceptance of life's gifts. The sixth line carries an existential recognition that success and abundance are, in many ways, gifts that arrive through serendipity and the natural flow of life. By accepting these gifts with humility, you honor both your own unique capabilities and the larger forces at work in the world. What you have to keep in mind is that when you get to the sixth line, you get to the end of a process, so you go beyond the nature of the hexagram itself. We saw that whenever we were looking at the sixth line of any gate, it is pointed towards the first line of the next gate, which is the 34.1 in this case. They are deeply related to each other. There is such a mystery in following the movement of the wheel to understand what is really going on inside of us. The 34 is about keeping us alive. Here, in the sixth line, you have humility. That is where you go from the projection of arrogance. The 14.5 that is clear about the nature of its energy and that has a lousy driver has every right in the world to think that this driver doesn't know where they are going. That is not arrogance. That is the 14.5 refusing to be the victim of the 3.5, the theme of which was victimization. The 14.5 says, I am not going to be your victim. If you want all my power, you are seducing me, so you'd better take me to the right place. When you get to the sixth line, all that stuff is over. Here, you have the humility that recognizes very clearly that it has power, but right after that it says, so what? The fulfillment of that power can never belong to that person. Remember the nature of the knowing circuit. In order for it to be fulfilled, it is not possible for one human being to carry within them that activation. It is not possible. Our knowing process and our awareness processes are deeply connected to our inner relationship with each other. The recognition takes two sides. The spiritual side is, it is in the hands of the gods. It is God's will. This energy was given to me. The other side literally is the same. It is just stripped of its mystical, faith-oriented aspect. It is just the same. I am lucky. It is the existential good luck of being in the right place at the right time. Humility, wealth and power at its most exalted, sun exalted, the enlightened recognition that material success is God's will. Earth in detriment. All manifestations of this position are essentially positive. The earth represents the existentialist recognition that material success was unavoidable, meaning you could not avoid being given this power. You got it with birth, and the humility was engendered by such serendipity. Just because they recognize that they have been given all that power, there is nothing that says that they will do anything with it. It does not mean that they will find a driver. Think about the 59.6, the one-night stand. The 14.6 is saying, yes, I will accept a driver, but it better be a very special one, because I just do not want to go around the block. I want to see the whole thing. I will accept you as a driver if, in the end, I can be clear about what it is that I know through my connection to you. After all, this is all about knowing. Be clear about 6 lines. This 6th line has enormous power in it, but they rarely commit their energy to anything. It is not just about going across the channel and finding the driver. It is about where the driver will take them. It is not about having the opportunity to fill the car up with fuel and drive off because the driver can turn the key and move along the road. It is, where are we going on this road? Where every individual goes is silence. This is the path of all individuality, to the silence of coming to the point where what is knowable is known. The 14.6 wants to know that the direction it takes through that relationship goes where it needs to go, in order for it to know its own nature and the value of its movement through space. But all 6th lines stand back and say, yes, but I'll wait. This is God's will. This is the existential reality. This is not about being selective. This is not about looking for drivers. This is about it happening and the good fortune that one can see in that. Finally, there is this possibility. In summary, the message of the 6th line in Gate 14 is that when wealth and power are expressed with true humility, they reach their highest, most exalted potential. This is not about self-aggrandizement or hoarding resources. It is about recognizing that the abundance you generate is a shared resource. By integrating your material success with a deep, inner humility and a sense of higher purpose, you create an empowered, sustainable, and genuinely generous way of living, one that benefits both yourself and the collective. What a fascinating line. Now let's move on to a different perspective to see how Gate 14 sustains or communicates the purpose of life through the crosses of incarnation that are established when the conscious sun is placed within the 14th hexagram, right angle cross of contagion 4, consisting of following gates 14, 8, 29, 30. People committed to making a potent contribution to society through their accumulation and retention of power or money, resources used wisely to empower, fuel humanity's growth, development, and evolution. Your cross has the energy of being well provided for. You also have the energy of saying yes and making commitments. Your energetic makeup will always draw the necessary resources to you. However, your desire to say yes can get you overextended and lead you to burnout. You need to follow your human design type and strategy and make sure your commitments involve things you are passionate about. People will be drawn to you to experience your abundant resources. Make sure you are spending your energies on things that have meaning on your soul level. Juxtaposition, cross of empowering, consisting of following gates 14, 8, 59, 55. People whose melancholic spirit is intimately connected to their financial security. The resources to create a solid foundation in order to guarantee a return on their investment, which empowers others. You have the energetic design to get what you want in this life, and a lot of that is going to depend on your security, both financially and romantically. You are only going to be successful at these goals over the long haul if you follow your human design type and strategy, because that is just the way the energy flows. If you follow these guidelines, then romance is going to be a key to your happiness. It is your underlying desire to be happy and secure as your personal means to empowerment. Left angle cross of uncertainty 2, consisting of following gates 14, 8, 59, 55. By understanding the financial uncertainty of others, they are able to assist with providing what is needed. Intimacy achieved or enhanced through providing or promising or modeling material security. The energy of your cross is to provide the materials and security to reduce the uncertainty. In relationship, we are talking about home, shelter, food, etc. In work, we are talking about product, ideas, or direction. There is an energetic void that you fill. There are these people, be it family, work, or community, that have this uncertainty, and you have the energy to provide stability and material goods to quell the uncertainty. I hope this material is helpful and supporting for the development of your human design knowledge. Please share if you enjoyed listening, and subscribe if you want to be notified about any new posting of informative learning materials regarding human design. Thank you.